So then, James, I've noticed you've repositioned the seat box. Why is that, mate?
Well, we're going to switch tactics now, as you know, Andy. We're going to fish the method feeder. And it's kind of the middle of the day and bites have dried up, but we've spotted some carp patrolling along those margins at that end of the lake.
Yep.
So what we're actually going to do is fish the method feeder tight against that bank. And I needed to reposition, so I've got the rod rest in the right position. And we're going to give it a good go.
Okay.
So I've got my method feeder ready and I'm going to cast it over to that spot. One thing that's really key when you're fishing the method feeder is accuracy. So there's two things you've got to do. You want to line up with the far bank, so you're constantly dropping the feeder in the same place.
Yeah.
But also I've used a line clip to fix the distance that I'm casting.
Right, okay.
Yeah, so it's going to keep dropping in the same place. So I'm going to line up with that tree on the far bank. Same overhead cast as with the float. And we've got the feeder just into position there near the far bank.
I noticed you kicked the rod up there slightly when you were mid...
Well, the reason I did that was I wanted to try and feather the feeder down into position, because obviously the line's going to be stopped on the clip, and I want to just gently place the feeder on the water.
Okay.
And this is a first cast, so the line's not sinking very well, but you'll notice that I did nothing with the rod. I haven't wound anything in, I've just let the feeder hit the bottom, I've felt it down, hit the bottom, and I've put the rod straight down. And that's how it's very important and critical to get the position of the rod rest perfect, so that when you cast and put the rod down, it goes straight onto the rod rest. You don't want to be dragging the feeder over to a rod rest over here, because you're defeating the object of what's so efficient about the method feeder, to get that very tight area of feed and the fish feeding in it.
Okay.
What you'll find is you need to probably take 2 or 3 casts before you start getting any action. What you're doing is just gradually building up the peg in the same way as we did with the waggler, loose feeding. We're not using a massive method feeder and just casting it and leaving. We'll probably cast out and leave it for maximum of 5 minutes and then repeat the process.
Okay.
Now you will see that you get little tops and jags and pulls on the tip. Did you see that then?
Yeah, yeah.
And that's obviously a fish activity around the area. Don't do anything about it. You're waiting for a very, very positive bite. In fact, the rod will just most probably get pulled round.
Okay.
No striking involved. Remember, the fish has hooked itself.
Yeah.
So just pick the rod up, keep it low, and then gradually start to play the fish. Right, okay, Anne, let's get another feeder full out there. So once again, open the bail arm.
Yeah.
Nice, smooth cast over to the spot, stop it, and just drop it into position, look.
Okay.
And as I said before, the rod rest is there. I'll engage the bail arm, and all I've got to do is put the rod down on the rod rest. Okay. And we're fishing. I don't do anything.
Yeah. So now we're waiting, James. Are the bites pretty unmissable here?
Well, like I told you, that's the key advantage of using a method feeder. The fish hooks itself. So you will get the indications, the knocks and taps I talked about, but when you get a bite, it'll be a very positive affair. In fact, if you weren't here, you'd probably pull the rod in.
Wow.
So whatever you do, don't leave the rod unattended, because you're likely to lose the lot. That's one, mate. There you go, and
brilliant.
Good bite, wasn't it?
Yeah, fantastic, mate.
Well, it doesn't feel like a massive fish, but as you can see, I'm keeping the rod low.
Yeah.
And that you'll find that the fish don't fight as hard.
Okay.
And just keep reeling, keep that bend in the rod, and do everything nice and smoothly. So I'm going to change the angle on the fish, bit of side strain. And as it starts to come closer in, start to give it a bit more pressure. But as you can see, and that just took off again, so just let it go. You just don't want to be rushing it. I mean, playing fish is the best part of the whole thing, so I can't see any point in rushing.
Unless it falls off the hook, of course.
Yeah. Right then, that looks about ready now, and so I'll get the landing net out into position, get the head of the fish up,
Yeah.
and then just nice and gently bring it over the net.
Brilliant.
There you go.
Well done, mate.
It's in the bag. So once again, just to reiterate what we said about unhooking the fish,
Yeah.
just going to keep the fish in the net between my legs,
Disgorger.
and then with the disgorger, I can very easily get the hook out of the fish's mouth. Haven't damaged the fish,
No.
picked the fish up, dropped it, and I'm just going to transfer it directly into the keep net.
Well done, mate.
Time for your turn. Oh, nice one, and that was quick.
Cheers, mate.
What had it been? It only been in for about 10 seconds. That's nice. Just bring the fish in and keep the rod low to the water. Perfect. You can see the nice curve in the rod, can't you?
Yeah.
Right, now just bring it over around to the other side, keeping tension on the line. That's it. And just take your time, and when you start to feel the fish is coming, that's the time to just gently lift the rod and bring him up. Don't bring him in too close. That's it, just lift the rod up now, Andy. Brilliant. That's it, keep the pressure on. Stop reeling now, because we've got it close enough in. Well, hey!
Hey, get in.
Right, you have a go at unhooking him, yeah?
Okay. Ooh, all right. Oh, the line's
That's it,
broken.
he'll kick a bit for a start with. He's come off now, so just you can tip him directly straight into the net. You don't have to bring the fish out at all. Okay, pull the bottom of the net now so that it tips in. Nice one, mate!
Cheers, mate. Now I'm hooked on fishing.